Hi, my name is Jessica James of Oh So Fabulous Events and More. I'm glad you're here. Come, follow me and take a deeper look inside my world. So I would say Oh So Fabulous Events and More officially started about 3 to 4 years ago at my daughter's 5th birthday party. I had hired DJ Bam Bam, who's the youngest in charge, and his mom, Lily Ennis, who's now my mentor. She came and she just didn't know who did the decor. It was actually a Disney theme, and each table had different Disney characters. And she asked me what it was that I did currently at that moment. And she said, Jessica, I don't know what you're doing, but this is your calling. I remember thinking in my head, I've heard it from numerous other people. They told me maybe I should go into the decor field, but they never were able to guide me. So this is a woman that I used to actually watch. I never knew exactly what she did, but I always wanted to know. Every time I would see her in passing, I would say, hey, how you doing? And the first thing she would say to me is, when are you gonna come sit down with me? It was about October 2013 that I actually came and sat down with her in her kitchen. And that's when we started brainstorming. She was able to tell me all the things behind the scene. And then she asked me, she said, Jessica, what are you gonna name your business? So I remember her writing down different names. It was like Dazzle and Basil. And I'm like, something just was not clicking. So she gave me all the information. I went home that night and I just started thinking, what would my name be? And at the time, my Instagram name was Oh So Fabulous. So I'm like, okay, I wanna make events Oh So Fabulous. And when I looked up fabulous, it meant extraordinary, astonishing, legendary. So that defined everything that I wanted my brand to be. But I knew that it had to be more. So I'm like, Oh So Fabulous Events. Okay, I do events, but at the time I was doing custom names. I was designing jackets for kids. And so I just added the "and more." And that's basically how I got started with the name of Oh So Fabulous Events and More. Before anything, I'm a mom first. I have an amazing 8-year-old. And honestly, I don't know how far I would be right now without her. So in a typical day, first I'm doing breakfast, I'm getting her ready for school. She's a diva, so we're fighting over what she might wear, how to style her hair. She's a model, so we're doing model practices, she wants to play sports, so we're doing everything that mother and daughters do. I also, at the time I started my business, I actually had 2 full-time jobs and 1 part-time job. So I was working a lot too, just trying to provide more for my family and for my daughter. I'm also an athlete. I used to play soccer, lacrosse, I ran track, but in high school I played basketball and I have a school record for track. So I'm always trying to stay in shape. That's very important to me, especially because I'm getting a little bit older. So for the most part, I'm working out, I'm incorporating that into my day. I'm speaking to clients, I'm answering emails, I'm going around and looking for different products that I might need. I'm learning how to invest in my business, how to branch out, how to market. So that's my typical day. And then I'm picking up my daughter from school, doing dinner, bath time, putting her to bed, punishments. So sometimes people ask me, why did I get started? What made me start doing event coordinating? And honestly, I don't think I chose to be an event coordinator. I believe it chose me. It started on over 24 years ago on 22 Enfield Street, to be honest. My aunt used to have parties all the time, and she used to call me her hostess. But that was just kind of her way of having me help out. And I remember when they used to deliver the tables, and it was nothing fancy, just round tables with plastic tablecloths. I remember the chairs, no chair covers. And I remember her asking me, Nanny Bell, put the centerpiece on. It was just balloons and a paperweight. But I also remember just watching her and how she lined up the food and how each spot had an order to it. And I was just amazed. And at the time, I didn't know whether I was amazed because of how much I was inspired by her. But now I can truly say it's just something that was in my blood from then. And even when I was a young child, and when people asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I wanted to be an obstetrician gynecologist. I actually was a biology major at Albertus Magnus College, but I never felt fulfilled. My aunt actually passed away suddenly when I was 18 years old, and I never felt like I was fulfilling my purpose or making her proud. But then as I started putting together events and, you know, something, that void that was there was just felt a little bit more complete. So my company colors are actually black and gold in honor of my aunt, the late Sanina C. James. And in this moment, I've never felt more alive. I've never felt that I was actually doing anything that was making her proud. And I can honestly say that, you know, she's looking down at me from heaven, smiling right now at everything I'm doing, knowing that it's coming from the heart and it's all because of her. My first event, which is actually my most memorable event, was the baby shower of Sean and Ebony B Photography. Ebony always used to tell me when I used to model for her that, you know, when you get started, even if you don't have your business name, you're gonna do my baby shower. I didn't really believe her, and then she got pregnant with Jules, and she called me and was like, Jess, I want to hire you. And I was really, really nervous because at the time I was trying to figure out, you know, the pricing and how much do I charge people. So I gave her a price, and I actually learned so much from that event because I called Ebony one day and I said, hey, I'm gonna send you a picture. Tell me, do you like these tablecloths, yes or no? And she said, I love them. I said, white or ivory? She said, ivory. So I was calling around, and I was trying to rent the linens, and they were an extremely high price. So then I did some research and I found them and I purchased them. Those are actually my first set of linens I purchased. I did not make 1 cent off of Ebony B's baby shower, but I invested so much in myself that I learned that if you invest in yourself early, that you're gonna get rewarded in the end. So when I look back on the details of her baby shower, the wine glasses with the fruit, when I look at the carriages with the roses in it and the tulips, and I look at the linen she had this elegant rosette satin linen tablecloths with just a tad bit of pink, and everything was just perfected. And from there, I started getting wedding bookings. People started taking me a little bit more serious, and my business started to take off. So planning each event, I've learned so much. It's basically a trial and error. So I learned what not to do by making the mistake of doing it. I did a lot of behind the scenes research. I looked up a lot of the top event coordinators and venue stylists around the country, and I just set a bar for myself. So I learned from following them on Instagram. I learned from picking up a wedding magazine out of Barnes and Nobles. I learned from Google. They say you're not supposed to believe everything on Google, and that's true, but I've learned a lot from that. I've learned from actually getting out there and stepping outside of my comfort zone and doing something that I was so fearful of doing by speaking to people, reaching out to people. And like I said, I'm so blessed that I have amazing mentors. Lily Ennis is really a connected person. Once again, I was fortunate to meet Lucinda Cross, who's amazing, and watching powerful women that have what I want and being able to teach me about running a business because they're successful at their business just brought it all together. Since I started Oh So Fabulous Events and More, there have been a lot of other event coordinating companies, businesses, venue styling businesses that have come along, and people often ask me what separates you from them. And I just say my brand. My brand is to provide the best service, the best experience possible, to bring my clients' vision to life, whether it's something that they put right in the palm of my hand or whether they come to me and they say, you know, we're leaving it up to you. It's always to be on time, it's to respect your time, to be classy, tasteful, and only thing I could say behind Oh So Fabulous Events and More, there's so much passion and energy for venue styling and event planning. So what's been the most rewarding about doing what I do with Oh So Fabulous Events and More is not only executing each event, but the smile that's on my client's face, or getting so much positive feedback, or walking into a store and someone saying, hey, aren't you the girl who does decorations, or aren't you the venue stylist? Aren't you Also Fabulous, which is basically, you know, my brand, or hey Oso. I think that's just something that when your brand starts to get to the next level and people actually know you not by your name, but by the company that you're running. One of my biggest challenges of running Also Fabulous Events and More is trying to take people's grand, original, great ideas and executing it with their means. It always has me thinking, how can I, you know, accommodate people that may not have large amounts of money but still deserve an extravagant event or a fabulous event. So it always has me going back to the drawing board and seeing how I can maneuver my packaging, how I can maneuver other situations, or how can I connect with other vendors so that we can also offer a service to these individuals that are having birthdays, that are celebrating college graduation, that are celebrating, you know, baby showers, but may not have the means to make it happen the way they see it. So people often see the glamour of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, but life isn't always grand. Life is going to happen regardless. So what motivates me, first of all, is my daughter. Like, that's the reason why I get up. That's the reason why I breathe. And to know that I'm building this brand not only for myself, but for her and for generations to come. So even on my worst days, I call my friends. I have a friend, you know, that prays for me so hard that she's even teaching me to learn how to pray for myself, you know. And I just feel like, you know, with anybody, I'm not pushing my religion on anybody. Find something where you can be at peace, or you can, you know, help yourself to push through and keep going. Because any dream that you dream, I feel that it should be fulfilled, but only you can do that. So Monday, June 9, 2008, at 6:32 p.m., I found out who my real hero was. I met a 6-pound, 13-ounce baby girl named Jayla, Sanina James Red, and from there she changed my whole universe. And Jayla had a lot of complications for the first 2 years. We were at a lot of specialists. We were at the cardiologist. They thought my baby had cystic fibrosis. I remember when they told me that she may have a disease where she wouldn't live past the age of 8, and she's actually 8 right now. And to see somebody so small constantly fighting through everything and not complaining and smiling and full of life and full of personality, you can't ask for anything better than that. So everything I do in my life is dedicated to her. She's actually like my breath of fresh air, and there's no other way I can put that into words. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I see Also Fabulous Events and More growing bigger and better. I see the launch of the Also Fabulous Luxury Linen line. I see the launch of Also Fabulous Home Interior Design. I see us doing events not just here locally in CT, but the tri-state area, Cali, Florida, Atlanta, and eventually out the country. So overall, Also Fabulous Events and More is looking to have a growing team that is just doing tremendous things that we have written down on paper, things that we plan or we're planning on doing, and things that we may not even see happening yet. My name is Jessica James. Thank you for joining me, and this is Also Fabulous Events and More.